a recap because it's been a very long time. And if I forget something at the end, feel free to jump in if you remember something or have questions. In the first session, we entered the town of Maple, a land of maple trees and maple syrup, a town that was falling to the wayside at one point in its history, as a better route became available for travelers to reach more important destinations. This was resolved when a circle of druids offered to help bring commerce back by creating a grove of maple trees in this area after talking with the town about what they thought the best solution would be, that made delicious maple syrup. And they also helped encourage a beautiful hot springs that has made this town kind of a little bit of a tourist destination and a major export for maple syrup. Our heroes entered this town and were drawn together by the promise of gold from Dave, a local shopkeep, who asked you guys to get the fairies living in an abandoned building that he had purchased. And he promised a total of 2,000 gold to your group, basically, if you could do this, so that he could make money off this building by expanding his business. You guys entered the house, discovered it was more complicated than that. That the house was haunted by the ghost of its previous owner, Melody, and her dog, Holly. You helped free Melody and Holly to the disgruntlement of a powerful fairy that lived in the house. You discovered through further research that the massive trees that are growing throughout the dwelling are somehow associated with the fairy. The trees can heal and grow. You've discovered that by attacking the trees. The fairy, who is a fairy queen, wants you to make a wish to give her power. That's why she had Melody make the wish initially. However, you guys are aware, based on how the wish went bad for Melody, that might be a bad idea if it goes bad again like that, so you refused. But two of you were sort of affected by a charm effect when you entered the house alone later. And while Syl was able to kind of shake off this effect and have any further harm, during the night, Grumble was taken from the group, and you guys are following after them using the compass that Zira has. Additional notes: you met Jasper, who's an old friend of Dave's, and you also met the owner of Snarple's Inn, named Maze Snarples. You found the death of many cats in this house, which can be drawn once a day and had been drawn from once yesterday. After Grumble went missing, the rest of you had entered the house to look for Grumble, and Meg, who was part of your party before, has gone another way. They left with Dave to try to find additional help throughout the town. Other things that happened: you know that Dave has been in the past, or at some point, possessed by this fairy, and may or may not have been unreliable in what they were saying, although that kind of depends on if you think the fairy is reliable either. Zira, you've definitely noticed that dogs are following you around, and you have a glittering gold paw print on the back of one of your hands. You guys have listed out your magical items, not counting the deck of many cats. For those who have more than one magical item, I want you to choose one. This isn't going to affect anything right now, but just you'll have to choose one of those and then just say which one you choose in your character chat. If you don't have more than one, then don't worry about this. Anyone have any questions about any of that before we move on to where we're at now?
Yeah.
So you want me to choose between the paw charm and the necklace with an arrow on it?
Yes.
Would you
Gotcha.
consider Melody's diary to be magic? Or the compass?
I will say that the compass is definitely magic.
Compass is pretty magical.
Yeah, Melody's diary is also magic, but you don't really know the extent of that.
Sure. And we're just choosing one between.
Just choose one for no reason.
Oh, okay.
For no reason.
Yeah.
That's not suspicious at all. Love you. Bye.
I'm just
You
gonna
choose your favorite one.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, choose the one you like the best.
Fine.
And I'm not doing that to kind of trick you. Definitely choose the one that you feel is the most important to your character.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think because I'm conflicted only because I know, like, story-wise, not to like metagame, since there's a lot of animals involved, to speak with animals can come handy, but the true desire to have an extra dex that
It's okay if you
Grumble-
metagain in this.
okay.
Whichever thing you think that you want that is most important to you to keep. Choose that
Because I
one.
know Grumble really, thinks he's like stealthy and
That's what Grumble thinks about themselves.
I mean, I'm sure he thinks he can do a flip, and obviously, so like the plus
One day.
dexterity, you know what I mean?
That's Grumble's ultimate goal. A
Yeah,
backflip.
I'll keep the charm, the paw charm, or not keep it. Sorry, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think the paw charm is what's gonna be most
You
useful.
choose the paw charm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. From Grumble's perspective, what's happening is Grumble is experiencing just the best time. In that Grumble is in a bar in their mind, at least, getting unlimited alcoholic drinks as much as they want, served alcohol by this woman with green hair and fairy wings who's congratulating them on saving like this town. You could hear your name being chanted outside. A hero, selfless hero.
Grumble has never been so
Yeah.
nimble in their lives. They've done
For sure.
dozen backflips in
Yeah.
the last 5 minutes alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grumble's like another one, another drink.
The best time.
Yeah.
All right. Entering into this house again. The door will not stay open on its own, so it swings shut behind Zira and Syl. Zira, do you have your compass out?
Yeah, I'm holding it in front of me.
It is pointing down the hallway, or towards the door that you know leads to the hallway at the back of the house. You've entered this house several times now. What is your feeling going into this house? Like, just so we can kind of reconnect with the characters and where they're at. What is Syl thinking and doing?
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
yeah, I feel like that's the prevailing mood. Yeah, I think there's a duality in Z. It's very fuck this shit, I'm out, but also my friend's in here. So
Yeah,
I think that's all.
valid.
That's all she can really think about right now.
I really think she's just thinking like, well, we're probably gonna die, but this also means we can only go forward. So
The only way out is through.
yeah,
Right. So determination, fear, worry.
A healthy
All of these
cocktail.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow, these are all my feelings currently about life.
I know. That's the same. Too real. I will let both of you make any kind of check you want as you enter this room and prepare to make your next move to give you an additional bit of information before you choose what to do next. It could be like an insight check on yourself, on the area, on like something you remember from before. It could be like a perception check to see if you hear something or notice anything in this room or about the house that might be different. It could be an investigation check if you want to spend a little bit more time in this room, thinking back to the other time you were here. Whatever. And if you don't want to do that, if you're just like my character isn't thinking about anything, they just want to go forward, that's fine too. But I want to give you this opportunity right now, before anything else happens, to do that.
Yeah, I want to make a perception check for sure.
I think
Okay, go.
I'll do that as well. I would do an investigation check because it's one of my higher ones, but I think what you were saying, my character's probably Zira's not really thinking we're gonna stop in this room. Like she's beelining it to wherever Grumble is.
So roll to 15 plus 3 to 18. I can do math. This is fine.
All right, so let's start with you first then for your perception. That's a pretty good roll. You, and I'm going to kind of do this based on your characters as well. You notice the trees are still all over this place. House is kind of like falling apart still. There's something about the trees that is a little different. You don't remember exactly where things were before. It looks like the branches have moved a little bit, and it almost looks a little bit more, just slightly, like the trees are situated in such a way they almost appear to be part of the house in some way. So what I mean by that is like in the far corners, Some of the branches are kind of like curving upward, almost as if like a pillar, like as part of the house. You see more branches kind of curling over, almost roof-like. Not completely. Things are still a little bit brambly, but there's just a little bit more structure than before. And they are, you notice, like this was happening last time a little bit as well, but you definitely notice the little streaks of green energy that were on these like magical trees before are definitely there, and they seem to be moving almost with like a purpose, like kind of a pattern to them, like regularly, like pulses. What did Zira roll?
Zira rolled a 17 plus 1 to perception, so 18.
You hear in the distance, in the direction that the compass is, just really light chanting. Someone chanting in a familiar voice. Grumble, grumble.
Grumble.
Very lightly, definitely Grumble's voice, chanting their own name.
Okay.
Just trying to stay silent since I'm sleeping and all.
That's the information I can give you. Based on those rolls, great rolls, good start. What do you want to do?
I want to move further into the direction of my friend
Yeah.
since we have the compass right. Oh, well, I want to move in the direction the compass is pointing. I don't know that that's where my friend is.
Well, I'll tell you. So Zira will turn to Syl and say, "I can hear Grumble, and it's coming in the direction that the compass is pointing.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think he's
Great.
down there.
I do know that now. Let's go.
Let's go."
You head down the hallway, and I don't believe that Syl or Zira went this way, did you?
No, we went towards the tree trunk and into like the
Right.
library and then back out again. So this is new for us.
All right. So there are some like decrepit like paintings along the wall a little bit. A staircase that has kind of fallen apart. It's just like into like shambles basically. So there's only one way forward amongst the rubble. Still, you still see like the little bits of vine and tree that are moving through this area are kind of like on the wall. It sort of seems to almost be forming. It seems to be taking up more space on the wall than in the other rooms. Almost sort of kind of becoming a pattern of solid space with the little lights again kind of flickering through there, like pulsing through there. At the end of the hall, you see the space kind of open up into a bigger room. It's pretty dark in here. It is morning, but the light doesn't reach this house still because of all of the vines and the tree above. Like it's just kind of filtering in little bits here and there, like dim light basically. You see that there is some furniture just kind of pushed against the wall, some empty kind of falling apart furniture. There is a table and chairs pushed against like the wall, like pushed up to the wall. And the floor in here is what you'll both notice on your earlier perception checks. Completely clean, which is very noticeable in this place covered in dust.
Like the whole room floor is clean.
Yeah, I'll say you'll notice that before you step into the room.
We don't notice it before we step in.
No, you do notice it right before you step in.
Okay.
But I want to let you know you notice this about the room before you step into the room, before you decide to step in the room.
I stop short at the door and look at Syl. Can I roll another perception check?
Yes. I will say that you know that you did a pretty you already rolled a perception check. I will say this is kind of like if you happen to roll it like a natural 20, I could give you some magical information about some heightened perception, but you already feel like you're getting a pretty good idea of what's going on there. I will, if you want to roll, you absolutely can on the off chance you roll high. However, if you roll lower than you did before, that will be your roll kind of going forward until we have some kind of change in the space.
Okay. Would an investigation affect my perception roll if I wanted to take a little bit more time? Or
I think that the only thing I will say about that is you can investigate the space you're in. In order to fully investigate that space, you'd have to move into that
step
space.
into the room.
Yes. You could investigate the hallway if you think that would give you some good information that would help you.
Sure. Yeah. I'll investigate the hallway. So what do you think?
I noticed it was clean, and the cleanliness brought me comfort, so I just kept moving forward.
Oh. Well, I will say I did roll a natural 20.
Okay. So you maybe say like something like, "Hey, Syl, I'm gonna look." You might say something you might not have. That's up to you. But you turn around to like start investigating the hallway,
Mhm.
and I'll tell you what happens with you first.
Okay.
So you kind of with the natural 20, you notice, but still notice, even though that's not in your like what you would focus on necessarily first. You definitely notice there's like more structure, kind of like to how the bits of tree and the vines are like moving throughout the space. It looks like there's almost more stability to the house with the way that they are structured. You also notice the very faintest footprints. With a natural 20, you're like, those could definitely be Grumble's footprints. It looks like they were just walking steadily forward into that room, and then the footprints stop at the door. I will say on a natural 20, you notice those things. You're kind of like looking at the floor more, and you turn around just as Syl walks into the room and disappears. And because you got a natural 20, you kind of immediately move to see what happened. So you see like this shimmer right over that space, and you know there is some kind of magical effect making it so you do not perceive what happened with Syl.
I'm gonna call out to Syl and see if she can hear me. Sylona?
Syl,
Yes.
as soon as you move into the space, everything changes.
Oh.
You walk into the space, and you can see like the ground is covered in moss and flowers. It's also very bright. Grumble is lying under a tree. It's interesting because the tree is growing from the ground and the roots are kind of wrapped around the edges. So the roots are wrapped around the very edges of what you can kind of tell now that you're in here is some kind of sight shield in like a giant circle. You can sort of see the shimmery outsides of this. So you can still see all the furniture pushed to the edge of the room. You can see behind you like other things, but what you mostly see is there's a clearing. Grumble is like napping under this tree that looks very much like the trees that are kind of making up like at this house. As the tree moves up though, the top of it seems to kind of disappear. Where this bubble ends, it seems like the tree only, at least as far as you can only see the tree as much as it is within the space. And you know when you were outside of it, you didn't see a giant tree in the room. And Grumble is kind of like got little flowers kind of like growing all around them in like little daisies, sort of like outlining them.
It's a chalk outline, but of daisies.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you hear Zira.
Oh, I
Hear
do.
Zira.
I'm just gonna shout back to Zira that I'm fine, and that I found Grumble.
And you hear that. Zira hears that.
Okay. I heard Syl say, I'm fine and I found Grumble, so
Yes.
I'll take a deep breath and step into the space.
You see Zira sees what Syl saw. You see Grumble, you see the tree, you see the greenery. Grumble, you're still stuck in this wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
This bartender is looking at you with glowing green eyes, beautiful visage, and says, "Now, would you be upset if this got taken away and all of the lives you saved are no longer saved?"
Yeah, I would be so sad. Without me, who would protect these people?
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you something as your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you can make this choice on your own. I'm going to have to tell you something upsetting here.
Okay.
So brace yourself. And she pushes a drink across to you just to help you brace yourself.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know that's what she means by that is here's some alcohol to help you brace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you a glimpse of a possible future. This hasn't happened yet, but it could.
So
All you have to do to make this happen is wish for it to happen. It's so easy. All you have to do is wish for this to be real, to wish for this moment and say it out loud exactly how you want it to be. and I will make this come true for you and for the world. How do you feel about that?
I guess Grumble knows that this isn't real anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm going to let you make a roll for that.
Okay.
I'm going to let you make a roll about this before you make a wish. Go ahead and make another charisma saving throw
Charisma.
with advantage.
22.
You are remembering what happened with the fair. You are seeing how eager she is for you to make a wish.
Mm-hmm.
What does Grumble say?
Grumble's thinking like, man, I could have this, right? And I could be all great and everyone will praise me. But what danger would the fairy cause to give me this?
That thought echoes in the air around you as if you said it out loud. And you see her expression twist. You can also feel other sensations that aren't about the space you're in. The air around you sort of starts to get this dreamlike quality, and you can feel like a little bit like you're lying on grass. Do you want to say anything as you start being pulled away
I want to go back to my friends.
and you open your eyes? You see your friends there.
Like,
She starts screaming.
Oh,
Right,
fuck,
yeah.
guys! Like, oh my god!
Grumble.
I'm like, oh my god, Sil Z, where are we? What happened? I thought we were back at the inn.
You disappeared. We woke up in the morning and you were gone.
Who picked my big ass up and took me here?
I think,
Okay,
I think
what?
you took yourself here.
Upon discovering you're in a new place, upon hearing this, what is Grumble feeling, both about what they just left and what they had experienced and where they are now?
I think Grumble is a little sad, right? Because at that time they did think like, okay, he finally saved the world, right? He,
Yeah.
recognized for that, but at the same time relief because he didn't cause any danger, right? Because that's kind of like what he's against and what he doesn't want to do, right? He may have his vices, but he's not gonna, unleash chaos into the world, right? That's not what he wants to do, at least.
He's worried that if he'd made a wish, if he'd been tricked into making a wish, he would have
Yeah,
done that,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
I will say, very quickly after that happens, you all sort of feel the ground rumble. And as you look up, don't see the outside of this space anymore. You don't see the house outside the space. You just see the shimmering. And you see like streaks of green. And the tree also seems to be glowing brighter green color. What do each of you want the most right now? Starting with Grumble.
So it's you said it's shimmering. We don't see the house anymore. We know the world is like it, our at the ground is like not crumbling, right? But just like shaking.
Yes.
I think Rumble's first instinct is to like get himself ready for anything that's going on, like to help protect his friends and like save who he needs to save, right?
Yeah, I basically just want to be able to like get very far away from this cursed house and this cursed fairy with my friends intact.
Right. What is Zira wanting the most in this moment?
I think Zira came here to get her friend, and now that she sees him, she's with Syl. I want to get out of here.
Zira's voice. A familiar voice. I can get you out of here. I can protect your friend. I could even make them live forever, protecting those you love, being as strong as you need to be, avoiding situations where you feel trapped and helpless. I could do all of these things. You are granted a chance that many would kill for, would die for. You see the tree that is next to you. You can see more of it now. like above and in the branches. She says, all you have to do is make a wish.
Okay.
Not. Oh my god. um.
We need to leave.
Yeah. At this point in time, do we know if we can get out of here?
How do you want to see if you can get out of here? You can make an insight check to the world around you, a perception check to what's going on around you. You can try to investigate the space.
Well,
Um.
now that we're in the space, if Zira was to turn around, can she see where they came from? Or does it?
No.
Okay.
You originally could. When you walked into here, you could see the space around you. Since Grumble woke up and the ground shook, you no longer can see the space outside of the shimmer. The shimmer grew stronger, and there's bright kind of glowing green sparkles. And kind of like shimmery branches, it looks like, kind of weaving around the space.
Can I make an insight check?
Yes.
Zira's gonna pull out the compass.
I got a 21.
Okay. The most obvious answer, of course, is someone can make a wish. With that insight, you know what this creature is doing. The power that they have is something you've never experienced. What is the most powerful being that Grumble has ever been in the presence before?
Man, I don't know. Maybe the first thing I can think of is probably like a dragon or something, and like scrambled away from it, right? Not being able to, really do anything at that point, right? Because he's
Right.
still pretty low level. And so she is even bigger than that at this point.
You think of the dragon first. That feeling of, I'm in the presence of something that could kill me, and it would barely have to try. And this is so beyond that you next think of walking into a temple where someone is using some kind of healing magic or summoning their deity, and it's much closer to that. But with that insight, I will say, you also begin to think of, okay, thinking of deities, thinking of things like archfey or legendary beings. Maybe we can find a weakness here for sure. Maybe we can search, we can find a way out. But the kind of stories, it's like maybe we can make a deal with them that doesn't require we do that. Earlier, they had also mentioned that maybe you could do tasks for them. Maybe you can convince them not to do this. Maybe you can trick them or entertain them or something. Maybe there's another path to take.
Gotcha.
Maybe there is a weakness here that you don't see. Maybe you could just try running through none of you have tried leaving the circle. You could just try running through the barrier and see where that takes you. There's a lot of different things. Zira, your compass is spinning.
Oh.
It's just round and round and round.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it do that before.
And I do still have a pull for the deck of cats, right?
Today you do, yeah. What is still doing?
She's kind of just trying to figure out the pattern on the branches and things. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word branches. She's just trying to staring at these lights, trying to figure out if they're in code.
Ooh, make a nature or arcana check for me.
This is a hard decision, Jen.
Mm-hmm. Is it? My bad.
You say my bad, but I feel like you don't mean it.
Did you? Sorry, you said a nature check or arcana?
Nature or arcana, your choice.
Okay, I will do nature because it's +3, which is nice. I rolled a 13, so 16.
Okay, 16. I will say you get an impression. You don't think that this is code, but you know that even trees that aren't magical can speak to each other in some ways. Spent a lot of time with nature, and you're familiar with this kind of thing. Now, you're not a druid who can maybe speak directly to them or get more of an answer, but looking at the way they're pulsing, you kind of get a feeling that what they're doing is growing with purpose. What is happening is there's a pulse of nature magic kind of running through them and sending a directive to all of the tree, telling them to grow in a certain way, at a certain speed, with a certain purpose.
That doesn't make me at ease. Why are they growing a tree around us?
Zira, what do you do when you see that the compass is spinning?
When we look up, I know we saw like the green glow. Is the fairy in the room? Can we see her?
The fairy is in the tree, in the branches, just kind of sitting on a branch, it looks like.
I'll look at my compass that's spinning in circles and realize that it's not gonna help me in this moment. So I'll pocket it and look up at the fairy, and I just want to say, what do you get out of all of this? What happens when we make a wish?
Your wishes grant me power and amusement. I'll be honest, there's no reason not to be, I suppose. I explained this to your friends, actually. This space should be mine. And instead, it is neither mine nor someone else's. So to fully fix that problem for myself and the environment, I need a certain amount of power that I've only been slowly eking out. Even the ghost didn't grant me enough. So
Why should
3
this...
wishes will do it for sure.
So 1 wish from Melody, 1 wish from Dave, and now you need 1 from us.
Dave's wish was hardly a wish. It did nothing. It did nothing. Him pulling a card from the deck did something at least, but barely. I want your wishes. What does Zira wish for more than anything else?
What does Zira wish for?
Make a charisma saving throw first.
Okay. 13.
All right. Yeah, what does Zira wish for more than anything else?
I think Zira wishes for home. Something that she hasn't had in a really long time. If ever.
Is home a specific place or a feeling?
It's a feeling.
Is there anything that's associated with that feeling? Like
Safety.
a song or like a physical element, like music playing, someone's specific's voice, seeing someone specific, any kind of environment type of like flowers or trees or like.
Yeah, I think it's like a warm fire and a really good meal surrounded by friends.
You hear the fire. You can smell the food. You can almost hear like just like the chatter of like maybe your friends talking and laughing close by. And you see the fairy kind of lean forward from where they're perched on the branch. It's so close. You could have it. All you gotta do is make a little wish. Syl, based on you losing your charisma check previously when you entered this house, what do you think that Syl's greatest wish is?
She wants to be able to like take care of the people back home and make sure that they're okay, because the whole reason she went adventuring in the first place was to protect her village and like make them prosperous.
And at the outside of that shimmering, you almost see it like you're standing in the shadows right outside of your village. You see like smiling, laughter. It is everything you could have dreamed and then some. There's a sense of security and safety as well. That it's interesting that both you and Zira have that feeling. The fairy leans forward and she's like, all of your wishes could happen in the same way even. Grumble, you could be the hero who helps save this village. And then you could all live in comfort and happiness together forever. You just have to find the right combination of words. I feel like you don't trust me because of what happened with Melody, but it's not my fault if the words you put into it get mixed up in that kind of magic. If you find the right combination of words, I could grant you such a beautiful future. Isn't that what you want? What are you guys gonna do? Do you guys try to escape? Do you try to like test the walls?
Yeah, I think there's no way, and I'll say it to her. There's absolutely no way that any of us can trust anything that you say. I'm guessing you did something to Grumble to lure them here, and that's not right. You can't lure people into your little magic world. That's not okay. We're gonna leave now.
Okay. When you do that, do you try to leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at my friends and turn and I don't know, just on my heel and back the way I came.
Grumble, were you about to do something?
I was about to say something, but as soon as I was like opening my mouth, when I saw Z try to leave, I wanted to see what was gonna happen to her, right?
Okay.
I'm like a step behind her, like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
Let's try to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm kind of testing the waters. I want to see
Yeah.
what they do when I try to leave.
D, make a wisdom saving throw as you back up and touch the wall.
12.
As you say that, the fairy stands up. The glow around it diminishes enough that you can kind of make out their features a little bit more. And there's something so ancient and harrowing. You get glimpses as you hit this wall of so many places it's overwhelming. Flashes of fire, water, places that are filled with terrible monsters and a darkness that's like crushing, and like a barren wasteland and a haunted, jagged hillside and lush greenery and spiraling colors and water that shifts from one shade of purple to blue to pink to green to red. You see palm hillsides covered in small houses. See, it just goes all, you see temples, you see a field of stars, you just see places like flickering, and you slump to the ground next to the wall, and the images stop, but you're effectively dropped to the ground at that moment, not HP wise, but it was like you fell down because of the effect. And it'll take you a minute to be able to speak or do anything. The creature says, "What was it that you said? That I can't just whisk you away. I can do so much more than you can comprehend. I don't think you understand the power that you're facing. I was going to give you a gift, but you spurned me again and again, and you questioned me. And now you challenge me? I'm sorry that you had to learn this way." What is the thing that Zira is most afraid of, and what memory is it tied to?
What is Zira afraid of? I think Zira is afraid of. I think it's probably tied into what Zira wishes for the most. But it's like the other side of the coin. I think Zira is most afraid of loneliness.
And why? Like, what memory caused that to be what she's most afraid of?
Probably feeling isolated in her family, heavy quotes on the family group that she grew up with.
Okay. So a dozen, maybe more memories flicker through of that sense of loneliness that grows into this fear that loneliness is what you are always going to be and your final destination. And the idea that safety, security, family, friendship, all of that is an illusion. And for a moment, you feel very strongly that fear is inevitable.
Cool. Zira just starts crying.
Grumble, what is the thing that you fear the most, and why?
I guess Grumble feels like our fears, like not being able to save someone, right? I'll say like in a childhood memory, like Grumble tried to defend like a friend in like a situation, but at the end of the day, he was helpless, right? He couldn't do anything about it, which is probably exactly what's happening right now.
That fear feels very close to you because you are in that memory in that moment, and you watch your friends trapped, and then you watch them collapse, and you watch them die, and then you watch them come back, and you watch it happen again, and you watch the villagers that you've seen in this area fall beneath this power, and you see death and destruction unending. The universe opens up to you with this sense of these are all of the bad things, and there is nothing you will ever be able to do about it. From the people who you're closest to the people farthest from you. And that fear just kind of swallows you for a moment.
Jesus.
Still, what makes you the most furious and why?
You say most furious or curious?
Furious.
Furious. Probably someone committing evils. Just like being malicious for no reason other than being evil. Someone kicked a puppy for no fucking reason. Livid. Because my character definitely has like an innate sense of justice where it's just like, you should just be good because you want to be good.
What memory is that tied to? What is the pivotal moment that made that part of her personality click in?
Probably like school age bully type situation where their friend was being bullied when they were young, and just because they like were blue instead of shades of red, like the rest of her village.
Right. Syl is filled with absolute rage. And it's very different from what happened to the other two. The emotion that kicks in here is anger that you feel like is overcoming you. You want to, in this moment, enact terrible vengeance and violence on so many people. And for a second, it's like you can see them all and you feel so strongly they deserve the terrible justice you want to enact on them. And you suddenly feel like you, for a moment, you understand or see that you had the power to enact that on them. And that power is taken from you. The opportunity is gone. And that makes you even angrier. It's like you can't even focus on any thoughts or feelings because their rage is so strong. You guys have fallen, whether you're like kneeling or fallen completely to the ground, and you see that the fairy is standing over you. And she's smiling and she's breathing in, and she says, "Your emotions are so delicious." She's like, "So this is what I curse you with, if you will not take my wish. These things will come to pass, and they will not leave you. Forever these emotions will be as close to you as any other thought. And I don't want to have to deal with you ever again. So goodbye." And she claps her hands. You each had memories that were tied to, like, the way that you rolled. Your memories kind of tied together in this really interesting way. I'm trying to decide where I'm going to send you, and I think I'm going to just roll the dice.
Where you're gonna send us?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, here we go.
Cool. Well,
And
I feel
think I'm actually-
great about this, you guys. I think we're really getting through to them.
I think it's really working, huh?
Yeah.
All right. You hear like a sort of like, it sounds like hundreds of voices are like whispering and you can't understand what they're saying. Two of you, everyone but Syl, hears, "I don't think you'll be needing that." And you watch the item that you liked the most is safe, and the item that you didn't choose floats in front of you and then explodes. And for a moment, you see fire and brimstone. You hear screams. You feel the flames and the cold and the rage and the danger, and for a moment you each get a glimpse of part of the nine hells. And then you hear meow, and you see like kind of like a whirlwind of something silvery wrap around you, and when you blink in unison, you open your eyes and you're in a field of green. Each of you for a long moment are just overcome by that emotion of fear and anger But Grumble, when you finally do look down, you see the deck of many cats is in your hand, and you're holding it like so tightly that a normal deck would probably be like maybe like crumpling, you know?
Uh,
But this one is not. It is way sturdier than perhaps it should be.
that's a lot. Okay. So at this point in time, we're whisked away. We're in a field. Well, I'm in a field. That's what I know so far, and that I realize after like all this like emotion has gone through me, right? Probably crying, screaming,
Yeah,
having a
lots
full-on
of
panic
feelings.
attack. Kind of. I then realize I'm gripping onto this cards as I'm like crying and trying to like get myself back or like my emotions intact. I think in like a fit of like not knowing and like can I pull a card?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What are the other? So, Syl and Zira, you just open the deck and you pull out a card. Nothing. No one can do anything to stop that.
So,
Zira and Syl.
so we're also in the field together, right?
Yes, I'll say you're like each a few feet apart from each other, like maybe in like a rough like triangle, like circle. See, you saw the two items that were destroyed. The necklace was destroyed that had the arrow, and the diary, the journal
Yeah.
was destroyed.
Melody's diary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think similarly to Grumble, like everything was pretty overwhelming, so I think just kind of like bent over, catching my breath, tears still kind of stuck in my eyes. As I like glance up to get my bearings, I glance over at Grumble, who is in the midst of pulling from that cursed deck. And maybe I have just enough time to say, Grumble, wait!
And what is Syl doing?
Trying to calm down. She just like went and sat by herself and is just like breathing.
Right. Grumble pulls a card. It floats in the air. It turns around. There's a picture of two cats staring at each other, and the cats turn. They're both tabby cats. They step out of the cart. They look at you, and they say, "You may ask us 2 questions."
Does Grumble know that his friends are with him now, or
Yes, you can
okay?
see each other for sure. Yeah.
I guess my first question is, where are we?
The cats smile, and they say, "You are in the Feywild."
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. My second question. I know Z sees me. In between me asking my first and second question, do you guys have anything to say?
Do they know how to get out?
I'm like, okay, all right. How do we get out of here?
The cats look at each other. Make an insight check.
Okay. This is so fun.
Is leave possible?
I hit a nat 1.
Cool.
The one time it mattered.
The fear is still there a little bit, and it is so hard to read the expression of a cat, especially when you've never met before. They look to each other, and they say, "There are many paths to leave the Feywild, to leave this field. There are paths that are now barricaded until powerful steps are taken. We would normally give you less, but we do not wish to stay in this realm forever. And it is only through us that you have not been taken to a place far worse."
This fairy was trying to take us to hell, guys.
Head to the north and
That's
find
fine.
answers daily from us whenever you can. We will tell you one more thing. And you see them start to flicker, and the whole deck is starting to kind of like like shimmer, but you rolled a nat 1 and don't know what that means. And they say, like, it's like they start kind of breaking up as they're speaking. They're like, cannot back, barricaded, gate, powerful, dangerous, and they vanish. And the card disappears.
Cannot
Oh,
back gate
powerful.
barricade. Oh, powerful.
Powerful barricade, yeah.
Barricade dangerous. Cool.
Cool.
Love that for us. Is the fairy gone?
You can make a perception or investigation check.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate. Is everybody okay? How we feeling?
Emotionally, not great.
Uh-huh.
Sil, are you good?
I'm fine.
Just quiet and mad.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 4 and +3, so 7.
Okay. You don't see the fairy anywhere, but on that low of a roll, you're scared. And when fear is there, it's kind of contagious. It catches on to anything. So there's this like kind of fear, like they said, Feywild. The fairy is probably from the Feywild. It could be anywhere,
It could be anywhere.
but you don't see it. But it could be here, and you might not see it because it's hidden before, and maybe it's even more powerful here. It's hard to tell.
Something of note on my character sheet is I do have advantage against being frightened, so that might come in handy.
It will. Like, you're not under the fear effect. Like, you wouldn't be able to, like, this wouldn't stop you from running towards anything. So you have advantage on the frightened effect.
Mhm.
All I'll say about that is that will come in handy.
Whew, okay. So we're in a big field. The fairy might be here. They might not be. But with that knowledge, we should probably get moving. And since Grumble decided to pull from the deck and we got some advice from those two cats, who may or may not be genuinely trying to help us, they said to head north.
Yes, they said to head north.
What do you guys think?
I mean, from the situation we're in right now, I think that's our best and only bet, right?
Yeah, I'm down to just trust it. Can I pull out my compass again? Is it still spinning?
What a good question. I'll say it's pointing north.
Makes sense. All right.
And just to like outside of our game with the other two joining, are we going to continue this game or within it, or are we going to start a new one? Just curious to see how far we go, right?
My understanding is what my plan was. We were basically wrapping up that specific like storyline, but you're continuing from here.
Yeah.
So
Okay, gotcha.
I had
That's
a
what I
vision
think too.
that there were two scenarios that could play out. Either we all die and re-roll characters, or we survive and we meet them.
We find two strange guys stuck down here too.
Maybe if we're still in the Feywild, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
However,
Gotcha.
Jen wanted to introduce them.
Besides, okay, I just want to make sure before I we make any rash decisions here.
For sure. Yeah. Before we blow it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to ruin Jen's game plan.
I always knew that we were heading in a direction like this. So
Okay, sweet.
So north?
So north it is.
Yeah, let's go north.
All right. We'll start moving in that direction.
All right.
fantastic. So you start heading north. North is towards the kind of like rainbow of colors that are in the sky up ahead. The grass continues to shimmer. It's green, but it's like an iridescence of rainbow that kind of moves across it periodically. And as you move on from there, I'm actually going to end it there. All right, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.